What's happening? This is the Next Fix podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Penley. This is where people come to share their stories of addiction, substance abuse, how they've gained traction in getting out of those circumstances. And then most importantly, what comes next? What's the next fix? What's the next level? What's on the agenda? And today I've got a very dear friend and hero of mine, Mike De Silva. He's a legend here in Orlando, Florida. And so it's a pleasure to have him. He fits on this show better than you might imagine. So Mike, it's good to have you here, brother.
It's good to be here. Thank you, Ryan.
And so, I'm aware that you've been sober. So tell us, how long you've been sober?
Yeah, I wrote a Post-it note and put it on my refrigerator. August 31st, 2023. A year from now, you'll be proud of yourself, is what I wrote. So just about 7 months now.
It's on the fridge now?
It's on the fridge now. Well, I know I moved it to the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah. So it's there.
Nice.
It's staring at me in the face every day. I think of it.
You look at it every day?
I do. I'm proud of it. It was August 31st. My birthday's August 14th. So just a little bit past my birthday. I wrote that down. My wife did the same thing, but hers was more about working out. And that's why, and I actually wrote the exact same thing and mimicked it. And then that was the day I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make some changes. Hers was more about a fitness kind of journey. I was like, well, she's doing that. Well, I'm gonna do this.
Right. Okay. So, all right. So you write this Post-it note.
Yes.
Right. This Post-it note is your daily reminder of your current mission. Right.
Yeah.
So where were you in your life when you had made this decision?
It wasn't like there was this epiphany, the sky was falling. It was quite the opposite. It had gotten just way too normal for me to do these practices, these behaviors that anybody else would have seen as unhinged alcoholism. But to me, it was just completely normal. Mm-hmm. I was drinking all day, pretty much every day, the second I was outside of work. Sometimes if I was at work, I was really good at hiding things. It just got to a point where it was a behavior that I was doing day in and day out without a break every day. And I was hiding things from my family, from my wife, from employers, employees that I worked around. It was getting way too normal. And without this major self-destructive occurrence happening, it was like, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm doing this so regularly. Something bad's going to happen,
Well, how long was that going on for? I know the answer to that. It's a long time, but
okay, I'm 42. Was drinking regularly since I was 21. Before that, I would say it was probably 2 decades of. I work in hospitality, hotels, food and beverage specifically. Since I was 16, since 18. So August 14th, the year 2000. That was the day I was legally able to sell alcohol. That was my first day serving tables on the floor. So I had alcohol at my fingertips every single day, 5-6 days of the week, sometimes more, nightly, since I was 18, since the year 2000. So for 24 years, I could say, let's just say 24 years, every day in and day out, working with alcohol. It was just a thing I did. I'm a server in restaurants, big ones, small ones, mom and pop restaurants, amusement parks, large, hotel companies. I've kept busy, so I've never not done it for any length of time. With alcohol at my fingertips, I'm a server, so to be loud and gregarious and to mix it up with strangers, not that I used alcohol as a crutch, but it was actually quite the opposite. It was just a thing that I was just really good at my job, and I could not. It didn't inhibit my ability to do my job, and it was just something that I started to abuse. It was something that started out as fun, but then it became just thing that was I just really enjoyed it. It was like free. I was taking advantage, and I was just doing it a lot every single day.
So you had said your words just now. It started to get out of control. So that to me, it implies that there's some moment, and I'm well aware how hard it is to really nail it down. But is there a period of time? Obviously you drew a line in the sand with your sober day.
Yeah.
But before that, was there a time when you were limping along that you thought okay, this this is not ideal.
I think, I'm married now. I have 3 kids, one of which just turned 13. Before it was just being young and reckless and being a party animal and partying so much that I didn't even wait to get out of work. I'd party while at work. I partied before work. Sunday fun days. I used to go to work completely drunk and almost sober up at work a little bit before I started hitting it again at work. But I think that aha moment was like, whoa, you're married, you've got 3 kids, I'm a business owner, I've got a lot to lose here. That's what really was like, I need to stop, because people like me only have one speed. I either do things or I don't do things. And if I do things, I do them all day is what I mean. This is me, and I can kind of hide things really well. I'm a little bit of a chameleon in that sense. But I think the aha moment was like, what am I doing here? At any moment, I could get fired if I made a mistake, if there was an accident and I were to be drug tested or alcohol tested, or, what if a superior smells alcohol in my breath and I had gotten away with it for so long. And then, because I had gotten away with it so long, things that were outlandish behaviors to other people was just normal to me. It was normal to go to working a double and leaving one job, going straight to a gas station, picking up tall boys of High Life. It's a high alcohol Indian pale ale. I don't even know if I had an alcohol problem as much as I had a High Life problem.
So I know this. I want you to outline the audience, like what you would do. You're riding dirty.
Riding dirty. That's just the term for basically driving around in your vehicle, drinking alcohol. I didn't brown paper bag it. It got to a point where I was almost like believing that, who's the car next to me to know that this green can is anything other than an Arizona green tea? I almost did it with impunity. Like, I'm like, what? I was daring somebody to call me out, but nobody ever did, right? I was drinking heavily, but not to the point where I was weaving in and out. I wasn't hitting things. I literally was drinking in between jobs and then picking it back up when I was at that job, because, again, I work in food and beverage. I was doing crazy things like going behind the bar at work to make a drink, and in one fell swoop making a drink, but also pocketing a beer, putting it in my pocket, going to a table, doing that task that I needed to do, but then acting like I needed to go to the bathroom, going to the bathroom, pounding a beer, and getting that bottle or can, just wrapping it in toilet paper, and then burying it in the bin, thinking, just literally covering my tracks. Yeah. It was just weird behaviors that I did, and I did it well, and I just hit it, and
I call it like mental gymnastics.
Yeah.
So your mind will say, you totally got this. Like, this is no big deal. Yeah. And it's so far from normal behavior, especially in the workplace.
Not proud.
I talk about it a lot, like, where I had to start, or one of the areas of my life that, like, I would have vodka in my bag, and I was working in retail, and I would tell myself, all right, it's 12:30. I'm not touching that bottle until 12:45, 1 o'clock. And I failed. I'd be in there taking that bag in the bathroom, the bottom of it in the air to get that. And I failed again, and that's just so abnormal from the rest of the world's point of view, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like not even like, and the crazy thing about you is it wasn't you never had a catastrophic moment, but yet these behaviors, and this is a testament to who you are and how I know you. It's like you're just such a master at perception. You're a master at linguistics. The ability you have to use language, which is like 3 of them, correct? Portuguese.
Yeah.
3 languages.
Portuguese, Spanish, and English.
It's wild how well you're able to manage all of that. And by the way, these are all moments in your life you are not clear-minded. You're under the influence, still mastering the languages. It's kind of, it kind of leads into the next thing I want to talk about, right? It's like, here's a person that I know for a fact has outstanding skill sets. There's no doubt that you have abilities that are above average in several different areas of life. Right? So the idea is, what comes next, right? So it's like Mike De Silva has now gained, will be on a year in August. And so you've got a few days, obviously, under your belt with sobriety. And so like, I want to know. I want to know, like, so what's on the horizon? Like, what do you have?
You know, as so, so 7 months of abstaining from alcohol. I know that I'm not through the woods here, and I know that it's not. It is on the forefront of my mind. I think about just keeping clean and staying on the straight and narrow. But I want to get to the point where just as much as drinking every day was the norm, that my sobriety is the norm. I don't want to shield myself from doing the normal things that everybody else, quote unquote, the normal things. Like I still will, my wife and her girlfriends and their husbands respectively will go out to celebrate someone's birthday. I don't exclude myself from those situations because I still want to live my life. So I want to get to the point where just as much as drinking every single day was the norm, that not drinking every day and still being able to be present is the norm. So I still go out there and I mix it up. I try to have a little bit of a social life. I've gone on vacations with said couples and still trying to be that guy without being the sober guy, but just the guy who's doing something else and not being I try to still be the life of the party, whether I drink or not. And, so far I've had success.
Do you feel a little bit weird? I feel like you feel like a little bit weird.
I feel there's two sides. Yeah, I feel a little weird. I feel like alcohol is the one thing. I think I just said this today at work. Yeah. It's the one thing that you have to make an excuse for not doing.
Oh,
it's the only drug out there that you literally have to explain to others why you're not doing it.
Right.
But I struggle. Not struggle, but I work hard to be the guy who's still there, mixing it up with you, having fun, celebrating that person's birthday. But the fact that I'm not drinking or I don't have a drink in my hand, it's not a weird thing. I'm not just the guy who's like, I'm only here because my wife made me come to celebrate his birthday. No. In fact, I can think of a lot of things I went out the other day and it was really cool. I had like 11 things that I thought was pretty cool about not drinking about that night, for one.
Is there exactly 11?
Well, at that time, I'll probably can't recall all of them. But there literally was like a bunch of things. I was like, well, first of all, I was telling them, I was like, see, if I drank right now, it was like this hip little downtown bar. And, I'm not the ugliest guy in the room, but I'm certainly not the most, handsome dude who's dressed to the T and the bartender like picks through people. What do you want? Literally, I was just hanging out. I was able to hang out. I didn't have to stand up and fight to go get a drink every time. And then we needed to leave. I didn't, sorry, the bartender's got my card. I can't leave. I wasn't going to the bathroom every 2 seconds because I've been drinking all these beers because that was my vice, really. I wasn't spending the money. I wasn't waking up hungover. I wasn't, there was just all these little things that if you drink, fine. Like, again, I don't judge people who drink. In fact, I tip my hat to people who drink responsibly. Yeah. I know that that's not me, and I only have one speed, and it's full tilt. And that's not conducive to being a productive adult, not at my age, not with my...
Well, check this out. I have this new, outlook, and I may have told you, I may have not told you, I'm not sure. But I believe wholeheartedly that the whole world is developed by addicts. And it's just like a crazy thing.
You told me this story.
I did tell you. Okay, so it's like I've been telling other people too. I'm like, look, and was Mother Teresa an addict? And I would say that there's a strong case to say yes. I mean, she's doing reckless behavior, putting herself in danger, going without certain things in order to increase world peace.
So just what?
So she's relentless, just like you're relentless. When you get your teeth into something, you go at it like you're like a rabid badger. It's amazing, right? So, but what do? Do you try to now tame that rabid badger, or do you just sink your teeth into something useful?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And so,
exactly.
I think that it's a strong. The more I think about it, the more excited I get about it, because I think that's what I want to encourage the people that are listening here, the people that I talk to. And this all came after the book, right? I wrote the book, and it was like, okay, I got a hold of some success and sobriety. Now it's like, okay, I want to start encourage people, don't bail on being an addict. Just get addicted to some really cool stuff, And so if you do that right, it just snowballs into something. And so,
so to your point, I wouldn't say I'm quite there yet. I want to be, but all that vigor that I used to put into during my drinking and mind you, I think one thing needs to be said. The excuse that I made for myself for why I think I was doing that, because I was a family man who was working hard to provide and juggling multiple jobs. I convinced myself that I deserved it. You know what I mean? If I've got to work doubles, if I got to work 7 days a week, well, by golly, I'm going to drink alcohol in between because it's a benefit of mine. And I'd be pilfering at work, which of course is fireable offenses. But I deserved it. If I'm gonna blow off a little steam in that hour and a half between one job to the other. But that's what I told myself. But what we were just talking about, I've now kind of tried to replace the time and effort, because it is time to be an alcoholic.
And
it was a lot of time. It was a lot of making up fake excuses of why I need to get in the car and leave. And my wife was just like, where are you going? We're about to watch this family movie, or don't we need to start cooking dinner? I mean, the kids are getting hungry, but I need to go to the store. But now I'm trying to spend those minutes that add up to the hours daily, what I was doing, into running or getting on the Peloton or doing a little bit of a workout or something productive, working on my business. I have a business, as you know, and there's always some kind of maintenance to the home that I'm running or compliance paperwork that I should be working on that before I was neglecting. And now I'm trying to stare in the face and, in an effort to grow the business.
Yeah, there's limitless developments that you can make.
For sure.
And you're foregoing any effort for those in order to reward yourself or take a break.
Yeah.
And, rest is one thing, but when you're dumping stuff that's just basically poison into your body, it's not legitimate rest,
Yeah.
And then another thing I want to mention, lying is exhausting.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm telling everybody the story and trying to avert your attention so they don't smell the alcohol. And then, where the hell were you for 10, 15 minutes? What happened there? What's this receipt about? It goes on and on. And
it was bad for me. In fact, my wife and I were just speaking, and we're speaking to like a family therapist, just working things with our sons and kind of like maintenance in our relationship, just normal stuff. And it was there that I kind of let my wife on to how much I was drinking. And she knew that I had a penchant for this certain beer that I drank a lot of. She knew it, but she had no idea the extent of it. And then it went from our discussing one completely different thing, for me feeling like that was the moment that I wanted to tell her, hey, you don't know this about me. I know you're married to me. I know that we're life partners. We do everything together. I'm an open book, but I've done a really good job of hiding this from you. You've got no idea. But when I fall asleep with the kids at 8:30, I'm probably buzzing pretty hard. And then I usually, my body knows that when I sleep 4 or 5 hours, wake up by 1:30, because you need to go to the store to buy more beers, because those beers that I drank earlier in the day from 2 o'clock on aren't going to sustain me through the night. So I don't know whether it was a physical craving but I just was up. I would literally wake up. The house is asleep.
It's called withdrawal.
I would wake up. I would wake up and I would go to the store, and sometimes I just weird. I just knew it's going to be too soon. I'd look at the clock and be 1:47, and I would literally wake up, slap on shoes, go to the store, 7-Eleven, and buy more high alcohol beer, tall boys, and then pound those. My wife's all like, "What are you, nocturnal or something?" Mind you, I mean, who's nocturnal when you have to wake up every day at 5:30? No, I was just waking up, and I asked myself, can I literally go back to sleep for the rest of the night, or do I need to get in the car right now, get more beers, to drink more, to put myself back to sleep so that I can make it to 5:30 and then go and repeat the whole cycle over again?
It sounds so tiring, but I've done it all. I've done all those things, and man, it's nowhere. I don't want to go back to that. It requires so much. But so where's your energy going now? What does it look like for the business? What's the next steps? So give me one of your goals. What are you aiming at?
We're looking to grow our business. Working and paying off debt, and looking to open up a second home. I have an assisted living facility, and I'm looking to grow, and that's the idea. So the time, the funds, all the monetary efforts that was going elsewhere is now going into paying off debts. Working on planning to open up a second home. Being more present with my kids.
Huge.
Instead of, I was getting to the point where my kids really were expecting me to have a green can in my hand at all times. It really hurt when I was at 7-Eleven and, who's now 5, but he was just 4.5. No, he's about to hit 5, pardon me. So he was like a young 4-year-old. And he would literally go, Daddy, here are the ones you like, and, or you're getting judged by the clerk at 7-Eleven, like, oh, only 4 this time? And he doesn't know that I've already been to the other one down the street. I was worried about getting judged by different clerks. Like literally one time he outed me in front of my wife and kids, like, oh, only 6 today or something to that notion. And like literally, I probably already had some alcohol. I had some words with him. And then I kind of got into it with him another day when my kids weren't with me. I did all kinds of things. I mean, I was definitely a different person when I was drinking that much. I was more aggressive, more willing to get into it with random people on the road. I remember with my kids embarrassing them because I'm having words with like teenage people, employees at Boston Market because they were, random things.
That's
behavior I wasn't proud of.
Dude, I mean, I could say that. Well, you look a hell of a lot better. And I've been lucky enough to see you to start in this journey. And I never doubted you, but I didn't quite. You kind of opened up more and more about how bad it was because you're such a master at deceiving people.
Right? It was deceiving.
I mean, you could put some racial words behind it, like putting a cloak over the substance use. But dude, I'm super pumped about this. I had no doubt. I wasn't like this wasn't an intervention scenario where it was like, oh hey guys, we got to help Mike De Silva. It was like you were doing all right? But now you're reaching a whole new level, and like that's what I'm about now in my life. It's like trying to reach that new level. So man, I appreciate you coming down here and talking to me. Of course, tapestry. So thanks guys for listening. This is the Next Fix. I'm Ryan Penley. This is Mike De Silva, and I appreciate your time. Until next time. It's only 23 minutes.